In real estate, mortgage rates are down just a tad from 7.2% to 7.1%. The housing market is cooling off as potential home buyers are not so quick to buy with mortgage rates at high levels. Let's bring in David Vincent, the director and investment specialist at Cadre. Of course, the cooling housing market is not so bad because of those runaway home prices that at one point showed no signs of slowing down, although high interest rates, not so good for consumers. What are you seeing?
I think, that was actually a pretty astute comment you just made that a lot of people miss. I think I wouldn't call it like a mania or a bubble in real estate so much. We saw that already, years ago. This was, money was cheap. People were moving. And if you have a lot of people moving from like LA to Phoenix is going to blow up.
Tell us about your company, because you are trying to pinpoint the most valuable real estate in the nation.
Well, if you think about it, Cadre at its core, we're a real estate investment manager, right? So we're looking to buy commercial real estate in markets throughout the U.S. that we think are going to, perform well for our investors. Most investors, especially in real estate, tend to invest looking in the rearview mirror. So we use technology combined with our on-the-ground insights from our experienced investment team to build this, this is one of the outputs of the process, is our Cadre MVP list, or most valuable places. So we're forecasting into the future for all of these markets that we think are going to outperform and grow faster than the rest of the country.
What are some markets that you see signs of growth potential and places where you are developing?
We have a project that we're working on right now where it's a multifamily apartment complex, ground up development. We're actually adding new housing in some of these markets where we are. In some cases, we're buying existing assets, fixing them up. That's value add work. So creating value with existing assets. So it's a wide range of different things, but it's, apartment buildings, think, 200-300 units, right? So pretty large buildings, offices or hotels and industrial, warehouses, distribution centers. And again, focusing on these high growth markets through the MVP, we're looking at places like North Carolina. Both Raleigh and Charlotte score very high for us. Think about in California, there was a big shift of people leaving LA, and the Inland Empire really saw a lot of growth. So we have Riverside instead of LA. So we're really getting narrow in our view in some of these markets. And, one of the key surprises that I think came up in this round was Philly. I think a lot of people, if you talk about high growth markets in real estate, Philly might not be high on your list, but in some cases, I think it should be. It ranked very high for industrial and for office. And when you look at its location on the eastern seaboard, it makes a lot of sense that industrial is really doing well there. And I think it's poised for sustainable growth in that market.
How can people check out Cadre?
Sure. Well, we strive to make it as easy as possible for investors to, work with us and invest through our platform. So you can come right to www.cadre.com. You can create an account. We have a lot of educational materials, everything. We try to be as transparent as possible. And you can invest, in all of our open opportunities right there. But if you're interested in learning more about the Cadre MVP list, we have this amazing report that we just put on the site today. It's at cadre.com/MVP. And there it goes through all of the markets, a ton of data, a ton of story behind each one of these markets, why we like them, what our process is. We're trying to help educate and help hold people's hands as they're going through this investment process.
Thanks so much for telling us about your company.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.